Should we get started, Yossi? Ready to roll? Everything's live? Welcome back to another episode of the What It Takes podcast. Today we have Hershy Goldstein, one of the founders of Friday. So if you don't know Friday, you're probably living in a cave. But Friday is a payroll company for small business to keep it simple.
Kind of.
Kind of? So that means your branding is kind of okay. You were 7 years at Fingercheck, helping thousands of business owners navigate payroll chaos, compliance, and all the headaches that nobody wants to deal with. But instead of staying comfortable, he took the leap, teamed up with Pinchas Schiff and Martin Schwartz, and built a payroll tech company from scratch designed for small business owners who just want payroll to be simple, fast, and human. We're going to be talking today about his entire entrepreneurial journey, why he walked away from a secure paycheck, how do you find your co-founders, the unfiltered reality of building a tech company, the challenges of being a boss, and what he thinks that makes a truly great employee. If you ever dreamed about starting something on your own, or you're curious what really happens behind the scenes of a startup, you better listen up. What's up?
Great intro. Thank you so much, Tully. It's my pleasure to be here.
It's ChatGPT with instructions. It's not just boom.
It was still great.
What are your thoughts on AI?
I think AI is, I heard someone say this, I don't remember who. AI is going to make the human currency go up. Meaning, what makes you, what makes you unique, what makes you is going to go up. Because everything else you're just going to be able to do with
More
AI.
competitive? Like the currency go up as in more competitive?
No, meaning the person that could express themselves fully in business, either in personal brand, in business, or in personal relationships, his currency, that is going to be very valuable. For example, look at the movie industry, right? Movie industry, it's very hard to find a good movie today versus 10 or 20 years ago.
Okay.
The main reason is because the companies that were driven by profits started going the predictable route. Anybody can follow the same storyline and make a movie,
right?
And it will bring in money. But what makes a killer movie is when someone takes a risk.
True.
And they try to bring a story to the screen, something that really expresses something that hasn't been expressed before, and then that thing blows up. I think with AI, anybody can open a podcast and anybody can say something. But are you saying what everybody else is saying, or are you saying what you really think?
Right.
And I think that will, and if you are able to tone in more into yourself and express that, you'll be able to cash out in the age of AI, because now AI becomes a tool, not a resource.
And it's usually quite predictable. In my line of work, looking at resumes, I can usually differentiate an AI resume versus a non-AI resume. But talking about being your authentic self and making that human capital or the value go up, a few people that did that became really well-known and successful. Think of like Charlie Kirk. He had his values, and he never veered off to anything different. He believed what he believed, and that's what he shared with the world. So I think that's very, very true. I like that.
How do you know?
It's a great assistant, though.
Of course, it does a lot of great things for you, but this still has to be the you factor. Meaning, if you're going to use an AI bot, give me content ideas and start shooting it, and you're just following the script, maybe you're going to get... But if you are like, no, I want to talk about this, and this is my opinion on this topic, and then you give it to AI, help me hook it, give me a hook, give me an intro, give me an outro, and then you play with it. Like, this doesn't resonate with me, this does resonate with me. What took 2 weeks could take you an hour, a half hour. Yeah, in that way, but in other words, it will help you elevate yourself, express yourself in a way where it makes it easier and for you to express yourself, and it makes it also faster. Like, if, for example, I'm now going all in on content, right? Mm-hmm. It would have taken me either a couple $1,000s back in the day to hire someone, a social media company, and think of ideas, how I'm going to do it. With AI and the right tools, you take out a phone, you start talking for 2 hours, you drop it into AI, and you tell AI, give me, what do you think the best clips is? Give me 10 ideas. He gives you the ideas, and then you play with it. You like it, you don't like it, but it's still you. You were talking, not AI was talking. So you can use AI as a tool, But AI is not the answer to all. It's my
Very
opinion.
true. Very true. So you started as a W-2, no?
Started as a W-2. Great story, actually. I got hired by my old boss to do software development.
When? Where? When was
And
this?
Fingercheck.
You start off at Fingercheck doing what?
I started off, there was a company called Fingercheck,
Right.
which was a time clock company. We were importing time clocks from Malaysia. They had their own software, and they were selling it on Amazon.
Was that your first role?
That was
First job?
my first job was doing retail, actually. I worked in a store for 2 years, 1.5 years. We were selling knobs and toilet accessories and vanities, hardware, decor. It was
Did you
called
enjoy
home
it?
decor. I hated it.
Okay.
I didn't look at it as a job. I got hired by a friend. This was like, I have this store and I need someone to be there. I was shooting the show and my wife was still making money.
For those listening and don't know what Shuna Shuna is,
Yeah.
it's the first year you get married.
Yeah. So it's like, it was a part-time job. It was from 11 or from 11 till 5, 11 till 6 or 12 to 6. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
I was basically sitting there and came in like 4 or 5 customers a day. And I just had to help them, show them what they want to buy.
4 or 5 customers? That sounds pretty quiet.
It was a very quiet store.
Would go out of my mind.
I did go out of my mind. I ended up leaving that company.
2 years later.
The main reason why I left was I had no reason to leave. I was making $600-$700 a week, going back 15, 16 years ago. Was okay income. I had my freedom. I was not motivated. I had no vision. So my mother is someone that's a small business owner. She has a store in Bar Park, Code Arcade.
Code Arcade, okay.
Code
On
Arcade.
13th Avenue?
On 13th Avenue, yeah. So she's been in business
Years.
for years. And she's always pushed her kids to go for education, which was not very accepted back in the day coming from Williamsburg.
Right.
I have a sister that's a speech therapist. I have a brother that's a speech therapist. She sent 2 of my brothers went to college to become software developers. One of them is now a CTO in a big company. So she was pushing me, and as a chlusn, I went to school for IT. I went to school for programming, but I was never really. I always liked technology. I love technology, but I never had the ADHD in me, or never was very, very good at
sitting and coding.
Sitting and coding. I was able to get the basics. I know what an if statement means, what a variable is, what a loop is, and what a database is, and all of that. But I was never able to mamish create yesh me'ayin. I had a brother that pushed me very strongly to. He said, interesting story. My brother was in school for programming going back 25 years ago. Back then, there wasn't like schools that teach you in 2 months programming. You went to college, you got a degree, and he was freshly married, and he needed a job. And he found someone that was an Israeli guy, that he was a salesman. He used to work for a company that sold software for OBGYNs.
Okay.
And he needed a programmer to do that, to join his company.
Like a billing software? Scheduling?
No, it's the developing the software that runs the sonograms. Like,
okay.
It's complicated software. He worked for a company, was a successful salesman. He wanted to open his own company, but he had no clue about development. And my brother's wife had a baby, and he needed to make panusa. So he's like, I'm in college. I want to become a programmer. Let me see what's out there. And somebody recommended him to that guy, and that guy interviewed him. And my brother didn't know crap. And he's like, how much do you want to make? And my brother said, $600 a week. He said, deal. And my brother told me the story. He went and he had...
It's like 30 grand a year, give or take, 28?
Yeah. He was a beginner. And...
writing
so
software for sonograms.
So he was taking over code from someone that has been dealing with it. My brother's an amateur, never wrote a real life code.
Okay.
Ever. And he sat down, and for weeks, he tried calling the old programmer, and this guy was like, figure it out, you're on your own.
Right.
And he's very smart, obviously. And he slowly, maturely started reading, started testing, started deleting, started writing. And before you know it, after a couple of weeks, couple of months, they started selling the product, and things picked up,
Right.
and then they recently sold a couple of years ago for I think $20-30 million.
Did you get a piece?
No, he's a
Ah.
very W2 type. I had this conversation with him a lot, but the point is, he was pushing me constantly. Go for it, you'll learn. Yeah,
Go for development.
Go for the. How do you think I learned? I sat down and I just tried and braked and failed.
But
Go
he can
for
probably learn how to Does he have ADHD?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I don't like to use ADHD as a.
I think it's a superpower,
excuse.
honestly.
I don't know what it is, but
Highly
to me,
creative.
I tell you what it is. It's for me, it's out of control. It's you want to take control of your life. You don't want to do what somebody else tells you to do, or something that you don't find interesting. So you're constantly trying to figure out a way. For example, even me now here, it's uncomfortable to sit here and being grilled and being asked questions. I've never been on
You're
a podcast.
gonna have a fun time. Don't worry.
I'm having a fun time, but the reality is there are parts of me that just want to do something else now.
Right.
So what do? You take water, you move the chair, you play with your fingers.
Right.
And
Yossi, maybe we should get fidget spinners for the future guests that have ADHD. No.
But anyway, so he was pushing me very, very strongly. So I got this interview by Fingercheck. He was looking for someone to do customer service, but also someone that can help him build out his new program called Fingercheck. Fingercheck didn't exist then, but he was working behind the scenes.
Which was what? A better software than time and attendant?
So his original the time clock that sold was Windows based time, and back in the day, I don't know if you remember, we used to have programs on computers. You double clicked something and it opened up a program. So you wanted to create a more powerful, more better and advanced program. It's gonna be web based, cloud based. That back then that was the thing. Everything's going on the cloud. It's funny to think back. Right now everything's on the cloud. In any case, so I went out for an interview. I told him I went to school for programming. I don't know much, but I'm willing to learn. He sent me a message. You're not getting the job.
It's not for you.
It's not for you. I'm looking for someone with more experience. I was sitting next to my brother then in the car. My brother said, tell him to try you for 3 months. No minimum wage. Tell him to try you. And after 3 months, if he doesn't like you, he can send you away. And that's what I did. I remember sitting in the car like, I just got rejected. What do you mean?
Right.
But I did it. I remember when I was davening Shachris, 10 o'clock, he called me up and he's like, you got the job. I asked him, well, what changed? He says, listen, you showed an attitude, you're willing to work hard, you're willing to try. I think I'm going to take that risk on you. And that's what I did. So I got hired and I started working there. And guess what? I sucked.
What was the role?
So I started customer service. I need to help customers troubleshoot tech support, troubleshoot issues with the program, with the clock. It was
Fingercheck software.
Fingercheck software. So they had 2 customer service reps. I would be the third. First, learn the product.
And the hardware came from Malaysia.
Yes.
Cool.
And that's what I did. I sucked, which means is.
But did you enjoy it?
So I remember thinking a couple of things. So first of all, it was a very busy office. Like it's
stimulating.
It's a bootstrap company. There was no bootstrap, meaning you hire the people when you mamish have the extra money, which means you're already drowning. So the boss was literally picking up phone calls and doing customer service calls the whole day. Wow. And then he had to train me, which there was no time, no space.
Who was doing growth? Sales.
So there was a sales. Okay. There was a sales team. That was doing growth, but it was bootstrapped. What
were they doing in revenue? Fingercheck?
I don't know if I can share that.
No, was it a small business of 1 million to 5 or 5 to 10, 10 to 50?
It was a small company.
How many employees?
We had 2 customer support, 1 sales rep. It was me and the CEO.
Oh, small.
Very, very small. We worked out of an office smaller than this room.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were building and grinding building a company from the ground up. It was a real grind. Looking back, it was the best experience I could have had. It's it was a blessing. But back then, it was very hard. I was coming in, nobody was talking to me, nobody was training me, and it's my first real job in an office, coming in with my Volnatal scooter, with my flip phone. First thing my boss looked at me, it's like, you got to tighten up. I started tightening up. But I was sitting there, listening into calls, trying to help customers, and I just wasn't getting it. I was not understanding how things work, how to fix things. And I remember thinking then, listen, there's some things that are out of my control. There's some things that are in my control. The things that are out of my control is how fast I understand and how good I can be. Things that are in my control is showing up in time, putting in the effort. No matter what, I was there in the office every day, 8:45. It was a 9 to 6 job. 8:45, I was there every day. And by the way, that went on for years. Probably.
So you left?
Not till I left. I would say by the time I left, we had 50 employees and I was director of the client services. It was a completely different situation. And I also came mostly on time. But if I had an appointment, for example, I remember having my brother-in-law got married and I finished the wedding at 4 a.m. 8:45, I was in the office and I worked the full day. No excuses. That was my mentality.
Weddings that end at 4 a.m. was a different conversation for a different time.
It's also 10 years ago, weddings ended.
Even today at 2, like, people have a job. Like, be a little considerate.
To be honest, I don't know if it ended at 4. It might have ended at 2, but I went to sleep at 4 till you get home, till you put the kids.
It's a lot. And then you're driving home and you're so tired. And I had a friend, who usually these weddings would take long and end 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. He ended it at 11.
I love that.
The meal, benching, mitzvah dance, then dancing.
Listen, I always say,
different.
I don't know. I always say when I start marrying off, there's going to be mechtunim. So I don't know. I can't do whatever I want. But
that's
if it
the
would
excuse
be,
everybody
what it
says.
would be up to me, I would start it early, small. I just had my brother-in-law get married, second marriage.
Okay.
And I was like, I think second marriage weddings are much more fun than first marriage. It's just
fun? How?
First of all, it's more intimate.
Okay, a smaller crowd.
It's smaller crowd. It's more intimate. So only people that want to be there are there. If somebody who doesn't want, he can get an excuse. It's second marriage. I don't have to come. So it ends up being
how many people showed up?
I would say maybe 150 people, 100. I don't know.
People
exactly.
as in both sides, like men and women?
By the men, it was probably 100 people, I would say.
That's very cozy.
Very cozy. It was a beautiful wedding. They had good music. Lipa was rocking the house. And we all enjoyed ourselves. And when you're close to the wedding, it's not like second cousins and
What
third
time do you go to bed?
I don't know. I don't remember.
But you had a good time?
I had a blast. And I'm like, I don't see the whole first, you come to pictures from 2 p.m. and there's this whole matzav. And I don't know. I personally would love to make small, cozy weddings.
Yeah.
I think it's more intimate, but there's a chusn kala. The chusn's teenagers, they want to have 1 million friends and they want the whole class and the whole grade to come. So it's probably not realistic.
Parents want cozy and the actual. Yeah.
So you have to. Anyways, so going back to.
Where were we?
Going back to my job.
Yeah.
So I wasn't getting it. So I was focusing on those things. I remember also thinking, and this is something I still use till today. I remember thinking, remember your humble beginnings. Remember how it feels to start a new job, not knowing, not getting the support, feeling all lost, being afraid that at any minute you can lose everything, you can get kicked out. Remember the feeling.
How long did it take for you to start picking stuff up?
So this is what happened. After 3 months, my boss went on vacation. And my boss told me that afterwards, that on that vacation he discussed with that he's coming back, he's firing Hershy. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
What ended up happening, because the reason why I didn't pick it up, I was simply afraid. I had my boss sitting right next to me, like this.
Whoa.
And then I had my manager sitting right next to me. So I was afraid to make a mistake. I was afraid to try. The second he went on vacation and the manager didn't care so much, I was able to mess up. I started messing up. I started taking calls. I started doing, and slowly but surely, I started getting things. He came back from vacation. The vacation was 4 days, from Wednesday to Monday. He came back ready to fire me. He saw a different person. And from there, I soon became a manager, and I just started picking up level 2 support. I didn't end up doing the software development part because I was helping him in product design and testing. I did a little bit of development. I was writing all the reports, but I was more on the front lines and helping the customer. Yeah, customer facing. It was an amazing turnaround. And so fast forward, I worked there for 9 years. So 2 years was just Fingercheck, and then in 2013 is when Fingercheck was launched.
Did they close down Fingercheck?
I don't know. I think it still exists. I think
but Fingercheck gets their time clocks from where?
So I think Fingercheck sells
to Fingercheck.
Fingercheck, yeah.
Gotcha.
But Fingercheck still has a separate software, a separate company, I believe.
And Fingercheck is a full-on payroll company?
Yes. At this point, it's a full-on human capital management.
And what was your career path from when you started doing level 1 entry level tech support to when you left? What was
So it started like level 1 tech support, then I became level 2 tech support, and then I became the manager of customer service, where I started having 2 or 3 people working under me.
was it your responsibility to hire them, or someone else hired them? You just needed to make sure the job got done.
Once I became manager, it became my responsibility to hire them.
Okay.
Yes. And I Baruch Hashem, had a very good boss that let me mess up. I was able to make a lot of mistakes.
How long did it take for you to get promoted to manager?
I would say maybe 2 years.
That skill of being responsible to hire people as a manager, that's true managerial skills.
It turned out I'm a natural at it. I'm a natural at people. It's my strength.
People enjoy working for you.
People enjoy working with me, and I understand what people want, and I'm good at communicating with them.
You'd probably be a very good therapist.
I probably would. I actually am. I'm not a therapist, but
Right.
I help.
A manager becomes one of sorts.
First of all, yes, that's basically your number one job. But at this point, I do a little bit of business coaching. I do business coaching on the side. Also, interesting story. When I started Friday, I was really, really tight to money. We were hustling. We were grinding back in the day.
Give me an example of tight on money.
Tight on money means that
I know what it means.
electricity being threatened to cut off, house being threatened to go on foreclosure, having like really, really, really tight credit cards all maxed out.
Sheesh.
Not knowing how you're gonna buy your next grocery order.
Wow.
Tuition going after you.
What about your partners?
So everybody had their
Own struggles.
own struggles in different ways. Some people had their wives working. My wife had a business that she made $250K and she closed it down.
When you started Friday?
Basically that same time.
You should have waited till you started taking a
She
paycheck.
closed it down. That's a separate story.
Right.
And rightfully so. It ended up being great, a good thing. So I was tight of money, and back in the day we didn't have salespeople, so it was me, my two co-founders. We went down to the show. We hustled the show. We spoke to people. We were out there. And after the show, I get a call from someone that knows me that I met in the show. And he's like, you guys' energy are electric. I was by your booth and you changed my whole way of perspective. So first of all, the way I go to shows, and this could be good for your listeners as well. When you go to a show, everybody comes with the same purpose. Everybody wants to sell. Everybody wants to sell. So the worst thing you can do is sell. What you have to present yourself as a consumer. You meet someone and say, hey, what's your name? Totally Krause. Hi, my name is Hershy Goldstein. What do you do? I do recruiting. So what are you trying to accomplish by the show? I'm trying to see if I can find. Sure. So who's your typical customer? Oh, I'm a small business. I'm not. You have a conversation. You basically let them empty your sack. And then you stay quiet. And usually what happens, so what do you do? That's your window. Because right now he's not on the fence. You're not trying to sell him anything. Right. And I was giving this piece of advice to that person in the show. Just a random guy.
Who taught you this piece of advice?
I told you I'm good with people.
It's something you picked up on your own?
The truth is, today with content, you hear so many, you consume so much, you don't know who told you what.
That's powerful.
Sometimes you consume content from somewhere else and you think it's your own idea. I don't know. But intuitively, I learned. And I was giving this piece of advice. That guy was having a new business and he felt a little bit insecure. Like, it's a new business. You're not yet one with your business. That's one
confidence.
The confidence, and he wasn't sure he has a good product. And I was asking what's going on. And he was telling me. So I was telling him, this is what you do. Go out there, just talk. It's a numbers game. Talk to many people and just listen. And then if they ask you, you go. You start selling yourself.
Only if they ask. Big thing for people listening. Don't start rambling if no one asked.
Correct. Anyways, he called me up the next day. He wants me to be my business coach. How much I would charge. Now, normally I would say I'm not a business coach. I'm a business owner. I have my own thing. But I was so desperate for money. And I gave him my price.
Can you share?
Sure. I told him I'll charge you $250,000 a session.
A session.
I wasn't focused on the hour. And still to this day, he called me last week. A win that he had. He's not my client anymore.
Right.
But we're still in touch. And he constantly tells me how much I helped him, which gives me chizuk. What happened is I had my first session.
Yeah.
I finished, a switch went off in my brain, and I was like, wow, I'm really good at this. Not only am I good at this, this is actually the number one key to my all successes in Fingercheck, how I grew in Friday, working with partners, working with investors. Like, there's a lot of dynamic, a lot of moving pieces. This is something that I'm good at, listening to a person, understanding what's really bothering him, and solving that problem. And I'm a CEO, but I'm really what I am is a coach. He started referring me other customers, and people started hearing. Right now, this is actually part of my day. People call me, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Quick question.
Part of your consulting?
Correct. Quick questions. I don't charge. I love helping a person comes with a problem, and I'm able to see it from the outside and give him a perspective, and then it clicks and it lands. There's nothing better than that. It's like,
it's a puzzle.
It's the best feeling. It gives me energy to go respond to my email or the issue. Like, it's highest. And plus, when you want to help a business owner, when he needs to go fund me, when his or you want to help him, giving advice, giving something from you is also a form of tzedakah. It's actually sometimes even more, because you're teaching him how to fish. You're not just giving him a fish, So that's something I do, and that's something I learned in my whole job. There was a lot of different dynamics that we had to get along, but overall, it was a great education. Now, going back to your question, why did I leave? It's funny. I was a W-2 pro. I was on the fan of being a W-2 employee all your life.
What were you making when you left?
250 with bonuses.
250 included bonuses, or
including bonuses?
After 9 years.
After nine and a half years.
The formula I usually use, you probably know this better than me.
Mm-hmm.
But when someone asks me, what should I earn, blah, 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 how much should I expect? I want to ask for a raise or first job. You start at about $50,000 a year, 50, maybe 60. And every year you go up about 5 or 10,000, 5 or 10% if you're staying in the company. If you leave, figure 10 to 15% bump. What are your thoughts? Since this is your business, you could probably run a report and see the average raise.
I don't know. I never looked at those numbers. It never interests me. The way I look at raises is how much value you're providing. If I spend on you
$100,000
a year, you need to be able to provide me at least 10 times that.
10?
That's what that's what I try to do.
I thought it's 3 to 4.
I don't know what the standards is. I'm telling you the way I look at it.
But how do you
3 to 4?
How do you figure that for a bookkeeper who's not bringing in revenue? How do you figure that out for a customer service person? They're not tied to bottom line growth.
Everything's tied to bottom line growth.
A software developer,
how are you going removed, maybe it's 3 steps removed, but it's tied.
A salesperson,
very simple. A customer service rep has a value. How much would I pay to make sure the customers there? How much customers can he help? How much are those customers paying me?
Gotcha.
Everything is tied to value, and that's what it boils down.
Right.
And it could be 10x is an exaggeration.
Right.
It might not be 10x, but the point is, there's monetary. I'm spending 100. How much do you want? It's like, think about, you make any real estate investment, right? You're spending
ROI.
You want ROI. It's the same concept. Then there's other factors. Then there's that, and then there's the factors. How much peace of mind is it giving you? Because peace of mind, that has a completely different value. For Elon Musk, peace of mind is a completely different thing than my peace of mind, right? Because how do you value yourself? How do you look at yourself? So that's also a factor. So if you want to get a raise, think about money first, like what value you provide, and then think about, you know what? Let's say you're a frontliner, customer service, which I was. So maybe technically in the beginning I shouldn't have only made $60,000, $70,000. But what I was doing, I was freeing up all the time for my boss, because before I took over, he was doing everything I was doing. And all of a sudden now he can develop his new product. Now he can put in time in software development. My old boss was a software developer, and he was able to build, I think he recently sold a $100 million empire. So that's worth.
Fingercheck sold?
Fingercheck sold, I think, for over $100 million. I don't know exactly.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Juicy number.
Yes.
That's crazy.
It's beautiful. And I
who bought it? A hedge fund?
Some capital company.
And they're gonna, I guess, bring it to all their other clients.
I don't know exactly what their plan is, but yeah, they want to grow it. They want to grow it probably to be $1 billion company.
Wow. What's your old boss gonna do? Sit and klutz all day? Is he working on his next startup?
I don't know what he's going to do, but I can tell you this much. There's always something to do there's always somewhere you can make an impact, depending where you are in life. Now, I don't know what's his journey, but money, in my opinion, is not for happiness or to accomplish something. It's for greater experiences, greater expression, and it's for growth. It's like you want to be the person that could hold 100 million in your bank account. Like you want to be able to be that person, be humble enough to hold that and not to overtake you. At the same time, you also want to be courageous enough to use it in the right places. And then it's also for experiences. There's certain experiences and you can't have when you're not making a certain amount of money. But with that, there's a cap. Like say once you make, I don't know what the number, let's say 50 million, 100 million, how far can you go with your experiences? Meaning there's only the world experiences is limited. It's not limitless. It's like the world has a square footage to it. It's like there's only so many things you can do.
After you have your own ship,
correct,
your own jet,
it's yeah. So that
and your chef.
So it's maybe the first couple of million it expands on your experiences, but growth and impact is where it's at because every person's has infinite amounts of impact and power that he has within himself, and that's limitless.
The reason I was asking is because there's a media company called Morning Brew. And one of the founders is Alex Lieberman. He's pretty active content creator on LinkedIn.
Okay.
And he wrote that after Morning Brew sold, either 40 million or 7, I don't even remember, a decent number. He had an identity crisis because his whole identity was Morning Brew. Now he sold it. He's not involved anymore. He walked away with a nice paycheck, but it took a very, very long time for him to get back into entrepreneur mode, start creating things, create a new business, figure out a solution to a problem. But till then, he struggled. Like, oh, wow, okay, I sold, but now what? I'm sitting and clutching.
Right. So I asked myself this question actually last week. I take walks now. I stopped smoking Rosh Hashanah this year.
Why?
The real reason?
Yeah.
My wife and kids were up. My kids were like
driving you crazy,
avoiding me. Like I used to smell from cigarettes, and I couldn't blame them. And I was like, so what the hell am I doing?
Smoking is it still hard to not smoke?
I read a book, the Alan Carr book.
I've heard about it.
And essentially, he teaches you how to. There's a lot of components to it. One of the components is that you're not really enjoying a cigarette, which is kind of brainwashing, and there's some truth to it. Like the whole thing that you take in a cigarette is you have a perceived imagination of pleasure, meaning when everybody has the story of the first cigarette. Like I was a teenager, meaning you felt insecure, you felt like things are changing, things are happening, and you wanted to take control of the situation. What did you do? Took a couple bucks, back then it was $5. You went to buy a pack of cigarettes, and now you're in control, or you wanted to fit in. So what you're going is for that control. You're going to take control of life. It's not actual pleasure. So once you take that away, now it's a fight of control. Who's in control? So he says you can't win this fight by being a stronger fighter by saying, no, I'm in control, because it's going to come out somewhere else. It's going to express itself somewhere else. Rather, rewire your brain. Instead of your brain saying, I want a cigarette, when that feeling or that thought comes up, you rewire it, hey, I'm a free man. I don't need a cigarette. I'm a free man. Right. And it actually works. And it worked for me. There's still new situation that can come up where I can feel I need a cigarette, and I just have to think those positive thoughts, and usually goes away.
That's very nice. I like that.
I smoked for 20 years, maybe longer. I don't know. I started when I was 14, 15.
Whoa.
I'm 36.
Yeah.
Yeah, 22 years.
Wild.
More. Yeah, 22 years. Sorry.
Okay.
Anyways, the point is, I stopped smoking, so I started taking long walks. I really enjoy my walks. It's the best thing. I finish my walks, and I have an open mind. And ideas.
How long do you walk for?
Usually an hour.
Quiet streets or busy streets?
There's a trail next to my house.
Morning and afternoon. When do you walk?
So in the beginning, I used to start doing the lunchtime, but I stopped.
You went home or you work from home?
So my office and I don't work from home, but it's all in one area. It's like 3 minutes with a car. I live in New City. It's a beautiful place, by the way. Guys, stay in Muncie. New City's where it's at.
It's Yisroel is where it's at.
Now we
Yisroel is where it's at. Okay, anyway, so you start walking.
I start walking, and I was asking myself this question. So I have this thing. I'm building Friday. The goal from Friday is to build a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm like, what the hell? Why? Why do you need that? You know? So this is a long answer. I ended up writing like a 13 Ani moments, my own Ani like belief system. What are my belief system that drives me to do that? I can show it to you later. It's not completed. I feel like there's still missing components. But basically, in short, you don't choose what you want. You don't get to choose what you truly want. It chooses you. Hashem puts in your desire in you. And if you want it, that means that He wants you to pursue it. And that journey that you're going on to pursue this is something that you have to go on and learn and grow and change and evolve and be misaken, or you can use Hasidic language and the tzoitzes or whatever that is.
Right.
And that's all. That's all that there is. It's not like when you reach it, you will be more happier. It's just opposite. The place that you feel you want it, and just going after it, already makes you happier. Sitting here with you and talking about it, I'm feeling it right now.
Give me one of them.
So the first one is obviously I believe there's a God. I believe Hashem made this world to give us all the good that we desire and way more. I believe that Hashem placed my desires inside of me, so I know what He wants me to go after, and that pursuit is good for me. I believe I make a difference to Him, to my wife, to my kids, family, friends, partners, employees, clients, and community. There's a couple more. I believe there are infinite ways to build wealth. You know what? I'll read you all of them.
Let me see. Oh, this is a long list.
It's 13.
Oh, it's.
I started writing down a few.
Why
then I
13?
was like, let me match it to the Rambam's Ani Mountains. Let me try to find 13.
Here.
And then
I have not the $1 million question, but the 250 plus bonus question. Why in the world would you give us such a cushy job to put yourself in a position where, how am I going to pay my bills? Now I need to cover payroll for my employees. Why in the world would you do that?
I don't know. Well,
What happened? What were the triggers?
There was a couple of triggers. First of all, I'm a builder by nature. I like to build.
Mm-hmm.
I like to create. I like to scale. Not only 0 to 1, even 1 to 10. I like when there's something to look forward to. When there's a challenge. Yeah, that's what I do. In Fingercheck, at least when I was there, at that point, the company was doing great. It was growing. It was plateauing. Everything. I came into the office.
No more challenges.
Didn't know what to do. I didn't have much to do. There was the CEO, and then there was me. I was the number 2 guy to the CEO, at least in operations. There was also sales. There was development. And I reported to the CEO. I was running a company, 50 employees. I didn't find it challenging anymore, and I was miserable.
For how long?
I would say that was for 2 years.
Whoa.
There was ups and downs, but I couldn't walk away. What am I doing? Where am I going?
Right. Well, to a competitor?
I wasn't.
That's where you're making most money.
I was making okay money. I was comfortable at my job. I had a good relationship with my boss and my coworkers. I was in control.
Right.
There was no reason for me to leave, but I was miserable.
So what'd you do?
What ended up happening, Hashem put in a riech in my boss. And he told me right away, it was a riech where my wife wanted to make me a surprise. She wanted to take me on vacation from Wednesday till Monday. It was our anniversary or my birthday. I was born on Christmas. So it was my birthday. And so she asked him, and he said no. He still doesn't know why he said no. It was a mistake.
No,
he made
it wasn't a mistake. That was,
and I heard about that, and I was like, what? I'm going to be working for 10 years. How am I going to look when I'm going to be 40? I'm going to be marrying off my kids. I'm not a slave. 2 days later, I gave notice. Walked away, no plan.
No, but this didn't happen over 2. This is 2 years of
True.
being bored.
Yeah.
That was the final straw.
That was the final straw.
Okay, you quit. Do you have any idea what you're going to do?
I didn't have ideas. No. My father-in-law had a...
Such a good story.
My father-in-law had a business. First of all, my wife worked. So
Right.
my wife had a business. There was income. My father-in-law has a...
But then you went on the vacation.
Then I went on a vacation. I went to Amsterdam. It was a traumatic
Very cool.
vacation. I had COVID on that vacation, and my wife had an emergency surgery on that vacation.
What in the world? Over 4 days.
Over 4 days.
Maybe there's a reason why your boss said no, not to go.
So there's a reason for everything.
100%.
Question only is how it's going to come out, how it's going to express itself.
So what happened? You quit, you go home, you relax, you're enjoying
It
your...
was Zeus Chanukah. I remember. It was Zeus Chanukah. It's the last day from Chanukah. I still have the test. You don't understand. Me and the company, we were one. There was no life me outside the company. I worked there for 10 years. This was my neshama. I was getting
your identity.
everything. I built myself up. I learned so much. I made relationships. It was everything. I couldn't see myself walking away.
Mhm.
But it had to come from such a place where I had to go away. And I gave notice. I remember shivering like this. It's like I
How'd you
couldn't
get it?
believe
in
it.
person or an email?
In person. I went, told him I want to talk to you. He was also shocked. We were both shocked at the same time. Like, it ended up being a great thing for him because he ended up hiring a whole professional team right after I left, and they started as they were getting ready to sell his company. And if I would have been there, it would have probably been hard because at the same time I don't have the skills that
Right.
and they needed to figure out. So now it was great. It was ended up. I told him, I'm here for you. Whatever you need, tell me how much notice. I didn't have any plans anyway. So tell me how much notice you want. He says, if you can give me 3 months. I said, no problem. You got it. I'll stay there for 3 months.
Notice.
Stay there for 3 months. He hired someone else, and I helped train in, and then I walked away. Then COVID hit, which was a blessing.
Whoa, that's a long time ago.
Then COVID hit, which was great because nobody worked, nobody had money, and I was just one of them. So there was unemployment checks, there was all those different type PPPs and everything else.
What'd you do to not become bored?
I was quite depressed.
For how long?
For 2.5, 3 years, I was very depressed. Yeah.
How are you not dead? Like, how are you still alive? Like, depression is something that's very hard to deal with. And for such a long time, taking a medication?
The whole time. No, I wasn't depressed the whole time, but I didn't.
Out of a job?
So it was a wake-up call. I did a lot of different things throughout. I wasn't out of a job this whole time. So what happened was COVID. Then COVID started fading out, and I started doing. It was like, you know what? I'm going to do business consulting. So where do I start? I figured, let me go to other payroll companies and tell them I can help them. Let's see what I can help them in any way. So I went to a guy Incubate, which you all CEO of CHS Payroll, a great guy. And I asked him, how can I help? He's like, yes, I'm serving one sector. I want to start serving a different sector. There's this product that I want to implement. I don't have anyone in the office. If you want to come in, we agreed on a price, shook hands, a 9-month project. It's like, okay, we're going to make some money.
Were you happy with the money?
I was happy with the money at the time, yes. I started doing that.
It was full-time in office for 9 months?
No, it was not a full-time
once a
job.
week,
I came in whenever. It went by goals. I finished a certain part. I got a certain amount of money. And I finished it very quick because I've been doing this. It's my industry. One thing led to another. Pinchas Schiff was their salesperson. And
he was there when you started working with him?
He was there when he started working with them. He was doing great. I remember meeting him the first day, and we right away hit it off. There was chemistry right away. And I remember thinking, this guy's a genius. This guy's selling a product. I'm coming from Fingercheck, and I know their product. Fingercheck is, back then, was 10x product. I don't know what they're selling now, CHS. I'm sure they have a very good product right now. But at that time, I was comparing, and I was seeing this guy selling and selling and selling. And marketing himself. Back then, nobody wasn't doing videos, LinkedIn. He was courageous. I was like, wow. You know what I could do with such a guy in Fingercheck? You know, how much we can grow. It's like, My brain was going. We developed it, and I told him, I'm really impressed by you. I think you can do crazy things. That opened some type of energy, and he was like, yeah, I can do crazy things. And then one day he calls me up. I think I want to one day see myself doing a company together with you, because I told him I didn't have any major plans. I didn't know where I was going.
Right.
My brain already started thinking maybe I'm opening up my own thing. This is what I know. This is what I could. And I had my niche with small businesses. Coming from Fingercheck, I knew exactly what small businesses want and where there's opening in the market. But I wasn't sure if I want to go back into where I come from. Then one conversation led to another conversation, and we decided we're going to open up our own company. It wasn't called, our first name was Payday, but it was trademark. We couldn't use that. We needed to find
I love the name Friday. As someone who appreciates marketing, it's such a good name.
It is a great name. It's not our credit.
But the website is Friday app, no?
Yeah, I can get Friday.com for $2 million.
Yeah.
One day,
One day. Who owns it now?
Want to hear something? Maybe not one day. You don't have to have the perfect URL to build a multi-billion-dollar company.
That is true.
You don't have to.
But if you can,
But
it's
if
an extra
you can,
bonus. It feels amazing.
It's good.
Like the website Blackbird is taken. Blackbird Recruiting is a long domain. I don't like it. It is what it is. Or maybe the initials, BBR. I'm excited to talk to you today about United Refuah Health Share. If you are spending thousands of dollars every single month on health insurance, this is an alternative for the firm community. You should go check them out. It's not health insurance. It's a health share program. Me and my wife and our family, we switched over about 2 years ago. We've saved thousands of dollars. Our premium or the cost is $500 a month. They don't use the word premium because whatever, those terminology is meant more for health insurance. But for the first 10 listeners who are watching this video and going to sign up using code Blackbird, you're going to get your third month free. So that's something I'm very excited to share with you guys. Make sure to go check them out. United Refuah Health Share. See you next time. I remember Pinchas at CHS. I went to visit him once in the office in Williamsburg. Cool joint. Yeah, so you guys started talking.
Yeah, so we built a great relationship, and then we were like, okay, we have sales and marketing down. We have operations and vision. We have me. We need someone that can build product. Sorry, bleep that out.
Yeah, bleep that out.
So we went on the hunt. We spoke to a lot of different people.
How'd you find Martin? What's his Hebrew name? Moshe?
Yitzchak Matche. Yitzchak Matche Schwartz. He's actually my first cousin, my wife's first cousin.
What happens if you need to fire him?
He knows that was our first conversation.
That would be a very interesting dynamic at the family weddings.
So the truth is, yes and no. Because if I would have a very close relationship before that, I wouldn't have gone into bed.
You're not giving up a lot. Got it.
I didn't have a close relationship with him. I know him. He's my cousin. Yeah. Like, I meet him 3 times a year. That's all about it. But I had a conversation with him. He was building custom softwares himself. He had his own small software studio with his developers and was building a lot of different products.
He had his own business. Cool.
He closed his business. He joined Friday.
Wow.
I sold him the vision. Baruch Hashem. Yeah, it was one of the greatest bets I took. In the beginning of a company, you need a kind of a jack of all trades. You need someone that could do DevOps.
Wear many hats.
And you need someone that can solve problems. You need someone that can do infrastructure. You need someone that can do design. You don't want. It's basically a team. What a professional or a setup company has 10 people, and you need one person to be able to do. And I was able. And you need someone that's quick.
Yeah.
That can do it fast, because if you get
in tech especially.
And he did our MVP in 2 weeks. From when we started writing our first code until we had our first customer was 2 weeks.
What do you mean till you had your first customer?
Till I had my first person.
When did you decide? So what was the process? Because many people think you just get a friend, start a business together. Big no. Call a lawyer, write up a proper partnership agreement.
Yes.
Take care of all the headaches first before they actually come up.
So we first agreed on the...
How long was this process, these conversations and meeting with Yitzchak Matche and talking to Pinchas until, let's do this. Let's call a lawyer. Let's figure this out. How long, give me a timeline.
I would say around 6 months.
From when you and Pinchas started chatting?
Yeah, until we finalized and started actually working towards building Friday. was a lot of. It took probably 6 months till we were able to just start writing, start doing anything.
Right.
And I miss those early days. It's still early, by the way. I'm still experiencing it. I consider myself very early in the game as far as the journey of Friday and myself. Try to remind myself that all the time. But yeah, there was a lot of, when you start out something, you have a vision, which is a lot of people get scared of the word vision. It's basically the idea. How do you want things to be?
Right.
You're doing this because you have this imagination. People are gonna love it, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and the more time you can spend in it, the better. Because at some point you get pushed into reality where you have to deal with day to day.
Right.
And if you didn't spend enough time on your vision, you start forgetting why you're doing it.
Right.
Why are you doing what you're doing? And I encourage everyone to ask them the question, and I do that sometimes with my clients. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? And there's always an answer. People don't ask the question because they think there's no answer. What do you mean? I need to make money.
What's your why?
There's infinite ways to make money.
Right.
Go
rob a bank.
There's infinite ways. You're doing what you're doing for a specific reason.
So 6 months was about conversations.
Yeah, and we sat with lawyers, we sat with other founders, we sat with investors.
Why did you say no to other founders?
Guess what? One of the co-founders' potential was my brother. I felt like I sat in the meeting and he tells me it's going to take you around a year to get your product, which makes sense. We want a full-fledged product, right? It's take me around a year. Sorry.
Next.
Close second, it was 2 months.
Right.
And that's what we did. We built stuff very, very, very fast.
How did you find your first customer? Who was
your
first
customer? Was, drum roll, my wife. She had
her business.
She had a business. She had 4 or 5 employees, and she started using my product. My actual first paying customer.
How does it work? What's the structure? Like $7-8 an employee per month?
$9 an employee per month for time tracking only. So we first built the time tracking part, and then we built the payroll. So actually, fun story. We started out. We had a partner that's gonna do our taxes and our banking. Every payroll company, unless you're very big, has partners or third-party softwares that they use in the back end just to run the back to make payments to the IRS and the agency. So we decided to go with someone. They were like, okay, great. We signed contract and all of that. And we spent 4 to 6 weeks to build out our product. We had a full functioning payroll product. It wasn't perfect. And the last step was to show it to their team.
To whose team?
To our partner's team, to show them our product. We were a startup. We showed it to them. And they didn't like it.
Why?
They didn't tell us why they didn't like it. They just told us we decided we're not going with startups. It's not in our model right now. So we had to take 6 weeks of work. We had a product ready to launch. We had to wipe it out off the shelf. Where are we going from there? So first we have to find a new partner. So we right away said, listen, whatever it is, we always wanted to have in our vision time tracking. How long is it going to take you to build time tracking? 2 weeks? Let's go for that. In the meantime, I will figure out the different partners. It's going to take me time to find a new partner, sit with them, figure out the product. And
is it an when you say partner, like an accounting firm?
It's not like an accounting firm is a partner for a regular business. Payroll companies have partners that help them submit tax payments. A bank, you need a banking partner. It's just like your credit card processing to move the money.
Gotcha.
Unless you want to become a bank yourself, you want to get a financial license, which at a startup that's a very big cost. Eventually, when you become bigger, it kind of makes sense because it's a lot of hard costs that comes to that.
Right. Very cool.
So we had to.
That was a waste of time.
It wasn't a waste of time.
No.
It was a great learning experience. Yeah, all these things were our learning experiences. Went with a partner, ended up being a terrible partner. In the beginning, it wasn't such an issue, but clients started getting notices, and we did everything we can. We covered things from our pocket, but at the end of the day, that partner had a malfunction in there, and so we had a crisis. Basically, a year into the business, we had around 200 customers. Or 2 years into the business, we had 200 customers. Still relatively a small company.
And your
we
clients are
debit
getting
back.
notices.
The clients are calling us up that nobody's getting the money. All employees are waiting for the money. I'm like, what do you mean? They're not getting. We call up our partner. There's nobody to talk to. They're saying that their bank that they're using, that the bank that the bank CEO is not answering. Basically, for a
Was
week.
this a small business? This partnership?
They were also a startup. They've raised $30 million. We thought they were pretty much legit, and they were legit. And I don't believe in the leadership. I think the leadership was terrible and the way they communicated. But basically, for a whole week, certain people didn't get paid, and while the money was drawn from the company's bank account. So think about a business where I don't know how long we were. We're maybe a year, maybe 2 years into business.
Oh,
the whole business is still like this, and Pinchas is like calling me up. That's it. We're going out of business. We're going out of business. I'm like, listen, nothing is putting us out of business. Nothing is putting us out of business. And
how many clients didn't get their money? How many clients where the employees didn't get paid?
There was most of our clients were smaller clients. I would say around 100 to 200 employees didn't get paid.
Wow.
Yeah, around 200 employees didn't get paid.
It's a real crisis for a small.
That was a crisis. I still have a
How'd
video.
you deal with it?
It's very interesting. First of all, I don't know. I got higher powers that allowed me to deal with this. So Pinchas, first of all, was on the phone with every customer. Tell them, listen, this is the communication that we're having right now. We don't know. We're trying to work with a different partner. We had our operations. Transparency. He was on the call. He was taking the bullets firsthand. I was working on the back end, trying to find different partners, different solutions. We ended up.
Where was the money?
So first of all, we had two problems. Where's the money? And second of all, we can't let other people process payroll with his bank. Like, we don't know what's going to happen. We need to find the solution, and people need to process payroll. So we ended up. Shout out to what's their name in Monroe? PC Payroll. I think they have a new name right now. It's a Heimsche payroll company. So one of my employees used to work there. Called up his boss. It's like, can you do us a favor?
Hook us up.
Can we use your bank?
Right.
And he's like, yes. So we just sent him a file.
That's
He did the direct deposit, no charge, for a couple days, 2-3 days, no charge. People got the money. Nobody knew anything because not all companies got affected. Only people that processed. So that was taken care of. Now we needed to find a new partner. Now, we were not happy with that partner that we were using for a long time, but to make a change, like I said, just like to quit a job, it's a big deal. It's programming, it's hours and hours of setting up an integration, and it's a lot of different components, a lot of different things and we estimate it's going to take us around 3 to 4 months to make a switch, and we just have to find the time.
Really?
But because there's a crisis, within 2 weeks,
boom,
we knocked it out.
So it was a good thing
that it happened. It was the best thing. Wow. And I have a recording where Pinchas recorded this, where I was having a FaceTime with the team. It was Friday. On Friday. And I was telling them, I don't remember saying these things, but I guess I was in it. I was telling them, listen, everything that happens is only to take us to a better place. Hashem only sends good things to us.
Okay.
Anyways, and that's what I truly believe. I can't see it, but I know it's good. That was the best thing. We need to get away from that company fast. They still exist, but they pivoted into a different industry.
I wonder why.
And Baruch Hashem, we're here today. Yeah, close to 1,200 customers.
Customers or employees?
Companies, employees, much more.
1,200 companies.
Yes.
You launched a business 3 years ago?
Very bad with these gauges. Around 3.5 years ago, I would say. It depends when you start counting.
Right.
When I wrote a partnership, when I opened the LLC, when I launched my first time trading product, my payroll product. Like
when you got your first customer, because that was 2 weeks after you started writing code.
Right.
So how long ago was that?
I think it was in 2022.
Did you ever get investors?
Of course.
For what?
For
hire more developers? What do you need?
No, I raised money initially.
For what? To pay your salary?
To pay, I had 2 developers.
Okay.
I needed a small salary. Yeah, me and my partners. There's hard costs.
So whoever invested, hopefully, it will be the best investment they ever did.
It will be their best investment.
That's a shame.
Just I have to be patient.
Yeah. Are they involved in the business?
No, they're in touch with me. I talk to them. They
Right.
call me. I send emails every quarter, investor
forward to
updates. But yeah, no, they're not. I took a lot of small checks from a lot of people. I have like 10,
Yes.
15 people. The
Investors.
biggest check is 250K. The smallest check is 50K. So
Love that.
it was a hustle. It was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people.
Would you ever do that again? That whole grind?
I would. So I
Dealing
made a big
with
mistake.
crises?
If anybody watching wants to raise money, don't do what I did. So what I did was I went out, sold my vision, met 10 people, got 5 checks, stopped raising money, went to build my company.
And went again to
Then
raise.
I saw the bank accounts low, went again to raise. The worst thing. Why? Because there's always stages. There's a reason why you raise money, right? So in this stage, the reason is I'm building a company. So what are you selling? You're selling a vision. So a vision is one. There's one way of selling that, and then there's
People call that a seed round? No.
a seed round, pre-seed. When you sell the vision, you want to be in the vision. The second you already have results, and it's always results are different than the actual vision. Now they start question. Now it's not exciting anymore. In other words, now it's okay. So you have 10 customers. How come when you have 20? I thought that when I'll come to investors, oh, look what I did in 2 months. I built a product. In 2 weeks, I built a product. And 5 weeks, I got this amount a customer. In 3 months or 6 months,
Well,
that will excite them. But it's the opposite. It's the opposite. You come, you sell your vision. People need to buy into the vision. Then you raise your round day where you show them that you were able to execute part 1 of your vision. You need to execute part 2, and you need more money. In other words, raising money is a full-time job. It's a 3-month full-time job. Meeting people.
how'd you figure out how much to give up for the investors?
So
Because you've never done that.
I spoke to a lot of different founders. Shout out to Moshe Beresh Taitman, that Cherry. He's been a big guide of mine, coach. He helped me a lot. I did a lot of research, and I also knew what I wanted. I knew what, at least what I think, where I want the company to be.
So how much did you end up raising? $2 million?
We ended up raising $1.5 million.
That lasted you, I guess, now you're up and running.
Now we're more or less profitable.
How until you took your first paycheck from the business, not investors? That you're able to
profits, we're still not taking profits.
No, I guess you start taking paychecks from day one because otherwise you wouldn't be able to work, right?
We took paychecks from day one. We still are not taking any profits on the company, and we're not planning to take any profits in their time. The goals are just too big for that, and we're really focusing on making the simplest and easiest to use product out there for small businesses. And will be very successful in that.
How big is the sales team now?
We have 4 salespeople
And
plus
the rest?
Pechas. We have 3 customer service, 2 developers, 3 partners.
Love it.
And then we have also outsourced team for backend stuff, like in the Philippines.
What's the hardest part about working with your founders? What do you disagree on the most?
So it's a very, very good question. I guess the hardest part working with founders is surrendering.
Compromising or surrendering?
Surrendering, not compromising. I hate compromise. Compromise, nicht dahin. What do you believe in? You never compromise. For example, Pechas, I love you very much, but we're going to talk about you. Pechas is a great guy, right?
Lay him down on the table.
Lay him down.
Cut him up.
Put him down on the
Yeah.
table. Pechas is a great guy. Pechas has been building up Friday, hustling, signing up clients, right? But there's still, for example, one of the visions originally from Friday was that Pechas is going to become a content creator, become an influencer on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and YouTube. But that never developed for right reasons, right? Because he was busy, he was focusing on things, whatever the case is. Surrender to it. It's going to get it. We're going to get it. Right now, that's why I'm sitting here. I decided, you know what? It's time. One of the reasons why you take a partner is you want to share responsibilities. But one of the reasons why I took a partner back in the day was because I was simply afraid to do what Pechas does. I didn't think I can do it like he does it. And I still don't think I can. I think he can do way better. But I'm the CEO of the company. The buck stops by me. And I have to do what it takes. South of the Shmai, that's what we'll do. We'll start creating content. And we'll be successful. Hopefully he'll get inspired and we'll start doing it as well. Leading by example. And that's just one small example. And the same thing goes for them. Like they wanted certain things, let's say operations to run a certain way, and they need to surrender. So that's the hardest part. And at the same time, I would say for me it's harder because, again, I'm not in their shoes. I'm not trying to say I have a harder job. What I'm just trying to say is, as a CEO of a company, the buck stops by you. There's no such a thing. You can't say, oh, well, what should I do? My investors did this, or my partner did this. The buck stops by you. You take full ownership of this company no matter what, of its successes and its failures, no matter whose fault it is. So how can you surrender? The question becomes like, what do you mean you surrender? And the answer is, if there's no proper way for you to go about the next step in a way where you don't hurt someone, in a way where you don't scream, and in a way where we don't do unethical things, you just don't do it. You surrender and things will work out. That's hard because I like to take control of stuff.
I hear that. What's one thing you learned about internal relationships in the startup? Because you have to move very, very quickly. Do you only hire people who can move fast? Or rather, if you have two candidates, someone's fast but not super diligent, or... Let me give an example.
Ask you a question. Let me answer that question. You ever were a backseat driver, you're a little kid, and you were going to the mountains, and you were constantly asking, Daddy, Tati, when are we arriving? When are we arriving? It was the longest way.
No, but I know what you're referring
to. Because your kids are doing it.
Exactly.
So, and then you have where you're a driver and you're constantly busy, you're focusing on other things. Oh, look what we can see here. Look what we see here. Or you take a nap, and all of a sudden you're there. I think that's the same when it comes to startup and speed. Constantly you're watching, like, when are we getting there? We can do faster. The slower everything looks, and the more depressed you become. So, of course, you have to have speed, and things have to move fast. And if you see something is not going fast enough, you should point it out, and we constantly do point that out. But at the same time, again, surrender. Enjoy the process. Certain things take time.
Right.
Certain things take time. And having that in the culture where, no, we have to do it, becomes taxing, it becomes terrible, and your product is not good enough. So how do you balance that? You make timelines.
Set
and then you step away. Usually you don't meet the timelines. So you make a new timeline. And obviously if you see this, like, we constantly are not meeting expectations, you have a talk with that employee, you have a talk with that department. You constantly motivate, but you have to take a step back. You have to let go. And all of a sudden, things start popping out.
Right.
And then you're like, when did we make all of that? Like, for example, the sales team that's not so involved in product development, we're like, wow, we have this already? For me, I'm in it. I'm working with them. It's like, wow, we're working this in a while. So learning to have the bird's eye vision on not only on the future of the company, but also in the current moment and staying present. I think that's what real speed means. That's where it's at.
Now, many business owners know that having a bad employee could be a terrible investment. You're losing money. It's bad. In a startup, hiring the right people is crucial. How do you make sure you're doing it right?
There's no such thing as a bad employee. There's only a bad CEO.
Someone who's not there's toxic employees.
Then he shouldn't be an employee anymore.
So what is your process to make sure you're hiring the right people that are helping you meet your goals for your business?
The best way to make sure you hire the right people is by firing the right people.
Huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean fire the right
people? You can't know from talking to someone 30 minutes or 3 hours that you hired the right person. You can assume, you can try, you can see if there's chemistry, you can see if he knows what he's talking about. You can try to see the best that you can, and with experience you get better at that. I think quite good at it. When I talk to someone, I can see if they can work, but even myself, I can be wrong. So don't forget about the hiring process. The hiring process comes later in the game. So again, if you're a new business owner, for 3 years, hire what you think is right, but learn to fire.
Quickly?
Learn to fire.
Quickly or not?
As quickly as you can. Obviously, no chaos, constantly hiring and firing. That doesn't make sense. You have to work with people, and you have to...
Right.
So everything, if you take it to the extreme, it's a terrible idea. If you're gonna hire someone and constantly fire, you're never gonna be able to find the right team. Nobody's gonna be perfect.
Your reputation is gonna get around.
You have to know. Let's put it this: steps back. What is the most important part for you? This employee should be able to do. boil it down to 3, 4, 5, 6 things. If he's good at 3 and 4 of the 6, okay, great. Now the other things is where you have to work on. You're also not perfect.
Right.
You're also not perfect in your job, unless you're, I don't know, nobody's perfect. So focus on your imperfections, and try to help grow your employees from the bottom up instead of coming from the top down. Hey, you're not good at this, you're not good at this. Bring them up, compliment them, let the light shine, and you'll lead by example. They'll come over and they'll learn from you, and they come around, and if they don't, you let them go.
Something I learned in the world of recruiting is before you hire, take time to figure out what does success look like in this position. Even for what people might think is a regular bookkeeping position, right? Just make sure data, like the financial information, is in the software. Yeah, but what does success look like in this position? Take the time, put away all your notifications and distractions, turn off your phone, and sit down and write, this person is going to be in this position. How do I define it to be successful? Once you know what you're looking for, then you go find that person. But you need to know first what you need.
In other words, what's your desired outcome?
Yeah. And then go find that person.
I love that.
Many people hire based on heebie-jeebie hiring. You schmooze with them and you like them, you click. But then they're 3 months in and they you're so far behind, they're not up to speed. But they're a great schmoozer. So great guy to work with. No.
So the truth is, when you start hiring, that's how you do it.
You need to first know what you need, what you're looking for. Like when you go buy a house, right? The broker's going to ask you, what's your budget? Do you need a master bathroom in your master bedroom? Right. Do you need a pool? There's all these parts. So
sure. So Tully, let me ask you this. Your average client, how long is he in business that you work with?
It varies.
Average. Is it their first hire? Or usually
no, I have not worked with companies that do their first hire. I don't think they can afford me. I'll probably work with companies 5 employees and up. And how long they've been in business?
So exactly.
A year, 2 years.
So they have a little bit of an idea of what's going on in their company. They've been hiring, and now they just have to take. A lot of times people are not there yet. All they know is they're busy, and they think that this is what has to happen. So part of the process is through hiring and firing.
Right.
But definitely, if you could go to a place and where you can say, "What's my desired outcome?" that would be great. A lot of times you don't. You
need it. Otherwise, because what ends up happening, you're wasting so much time and money on hiring people, and you're interviewing, and you're not sure, and this and that.
Right.
Right. And you need to do reference checks. Talk to the person. I've never done
a reference check in my life.
It's very, very important. Very important. Sometimes you could do reference checks once you're ready to hire them. Figure out what's the best way to work with them. How do they handle change? Do you need to let them know in advance, or can they handle it with it? Interesting. Can they handle change right away? Like sometimes reference checks are good for that too, but reference checks are very, 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 very valuable. As the guy that the buck stops here, CEO in charge. What's the hardest part about your day to day? During the silence, we'll put on some on hold music.
It's a very good question. I don't think anything in my job is hard, honestly. I'm trying to find
challenging. What's the most challenging part of your day to day?
Challenging is navigating the dynamics of partners and employees and customers. It's like just dancing the dance. It's also not challenging because it's. So I like the dance. So dancing that dance is it could sometimes be challenging, exciting, but
What's a recent challenge that you had a hard time working with?
The recent challenge is coming on this podcast. I was never a person that came out and did media.
What made you say yes?
So I've made a decision a week before that I'm going all out on content.
Getting out there.
I'm not hiding anymore. Okay. This is the world of where everything is open. Vulnerability is what gets you most further. It wasn't like that back in the day. And I'm going to face my fear of rejection and my fear of being not good enough. And I'm going to go all out. And it's a very hard thing. It's a very challenging thing. So if you want to know what's my hardest thing now is going all out. Going all in on content, believing myself, and not being afraid, because I know the rejection is going to come in. People are going to judge. People are going to, and it's normal. And I watch content and I judge
Right.
people like, what the hell are you doing? You don't know what you're talking about. But believing if something sounds true to you, there's a very big chance it's going to sound true to others, and just focusing on that. That's my biggest challenge right now.
It's pretty good. Well, I'll tell you what. When Friday sells for a lot of money,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to say you were my first. I was your first podcast.
You were.
You were an employee. You became then a business owner. What do you think is something that employees need to know
It's a very good question.
that many don't or should?
First of all, I think every business owner should be an employee at some point.
First or
Meaning-
after? Shmuley Schwarzblatt
Yeah.
was an employer and became an employee.
Mm.
And he said that mindset was very, very tough to deal with. You're a business owner. You have the freedom to make decisions however you want. And then for 2 years, he was an employee. He said it was very, very hard. And now he's working on becoming an employer again.
So I remember when I was meeting with CEO of CHS to do consulting, he was asking me questions. I wanted to see if I'm a right fit. So he was asking me questions about how I would do differently, what I would do differently in my other company, in Fingercheck. And I answered him, the truth is, I can tell you what I would do differently, but the truth is, I don't know what I don't know, meaning I was never in that seat, and I don't know the perspective of things. So it's very stupid of me to have that opinion. I think that's something employees need to understand, that if you work for someone, believe in that person and trust that person. Believe and trust in that person. If you don't believe in that person, you don't trust that person, don't work for him. Don't work for him. Work for someone
As an
else.
employee.
As an employee. If you don't trust him and you
Yeah,
don't
but
believe.
you're looking for a job. How are you going to know the trust gets built over time?
So, again, I'm not telling you to
You-
quit
when you
now.
took
I'm
your
not
job,
giving
I
you
think-
practical advice. Go and quit the job if you don't trust. But what I'm saying is, it's not the ideal job. Have your eyes open. Start searching.
When you joined Fingercheck, you didn't trust the guy.
Of course.
You didn't know him.
Okay, when I started out, you start out the job. I don't know anything about it, but first of all, he sold me on his vision in the interview, and I was
Okay.
like, yes, I'm gonna make a lot of money here, and I was a big fan. I'm still a big fan. I was a chusset mivik from my boss. Everything I know, he taught me.
Right.
I wanted to work for him. He treated me nice. My whole life was around him. It's like, listen, in Yiddishkeit, there's 3 ways to dien the Eibusher. There's 3 avodas. There's Evet, Lifnei Rabbi, there's Ava Ben, and there's Ish V'Isha.
Right.
Right? It's 3 types of relationships. And all of them have beautiful things. They have malas and chesronos, right? The Evet and Ben, there's a certain mala that the Evet and Rabbi,
Rabbi.
there's a certain simpleness. You trust your boss. What he tells you to do is the good thing. If he tells you that you have now more, that he gives over more control and that he trusts your judgment, then that's great. That means your judgment is good. There's a simple, basic life. It's great. I loved it. I did it for 9 years. There was a lot of good things about it. It was amazing. And at some point, I outgrew that. I needed something more. I needed a different relationship, right? So ultimately, I'm now in the entrepreneurial thing where I have a very close relationship with Hashem. That's like, you can't not
Right.
have a relationship with him. You could, you'll be miserable. But for example, coming out doing content was it's like, okay, things need to move a certain way. I want them to move a certain way. It's not going a certain way. What is it that I can do? What am I afraid of? And after asking the question a couple of times, it came up rejection.
Right.
You're just afraid. And who are you afraid of? So I know what I have to do. It's a completely different journey. So it's a journey between you and yourself, between your heart and your mind.
Right.
It's a different thing. So I hope that answers your question.
I think so, but as more for employees, what do they need to know? As you were both, like, is there something that you feel like employees don't really know much? Like, if they knew this, oh wow.
Yes, employees have a job. Let's say you do customer service. You have to make the customer happy, right? That's your job, and you should do great thing. And your job is also to advocate to get more things done for the customer, right? The CFO's job is to make sure There's always money in the bank account. We're net positive. We're profit. The product, job, or
Marketing,
market, yeah,
rec,
everybody,
sales.
and they focus on that. There's only one person that has to have everything in mind, which means is sometimes you have to take money from the bank account that you don't have in order to build a product that the customer wants. And sometimes you have to tell the customer no because you don't have the money.
Right.
And sometimes you have to tell product to develop something that the customer doesn't want because you believe this is what the customer will want. So you're the person that sees the full picture, and anybody else can't see the full picture, and they're not expected to see the full picture. And that's why you have to work with someone you trust, because he's the one that has the full picture.
Right.
And even I don't have the full picture. I have to trust
The boss, the big
the
boss.
big boss.
As we're getting to the end of the podcast, would you have any advice for someone who's like, he has a job, makes a cushy salary, but hit a plateau. It's already a year. They're pretty bored. Job's getting done. They don't feel like they have a challenge. They're thinking about going out on their own. Any advice? Now, before you answer, there was someone on the podcast that said, don't do it. Like, don't go out on your own.
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
It's okay.
Of
Answer
course not.
however you feel comfortable. Open it to them.
The journey that you're gonna go when you open up is something nobody can prepare you for. It's gonna be grueling. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a lot of ups and downs. But on the other side, there's a greater version of you. Go after it. Go careful. Daven. Make sure the most important thing is your wife and your kids. Don't forget about that.
Support.
It's more than support. Be the husband that you are and that you could be. A husband is not a title. It's who you are. A father is not a title. It's who you are. CEO is a title.
I like that.
And b'siyata d'shmaya, if you can be who you are, you will be successful. If you're humble enough and you have enough grit, which sounds contradicting, but it's not, b'siyata d'shmaya, you'll be successful. And call me, and I'll be happy to walk you through a hard day.
Reach out to me on LinkedIn, Hershy Goldstein.
Reach out to me on LinkedIn.
Wow. Okay, what a good podcast. I hope you enjoyed. Hershy, you were a phenomenal guest.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe on YouTube, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, guys.